Welcome back to Greatness Unlocked. If you find any value here, I humbly ask that you hit the like and subscribe today. I want to talk about a deeply concerning issue that affects us all: the insidious ways in which the powers that be may seek to keep us ignorant. Now, let me clarify something important up front. Not every leader or authority figure is out to keep us in the dark. Many genuinely strive for a better society, but there are certain individuals and groups, those who thrive on control, who benefit tremendously from an uneducated or misinformed public. Historically, we can see this pattern unfold time and again. Authoritarians and demagogues have sought to control information and suppress critical thinking, to consolidate their power and suppress dissent. They understand that knowledge is power, and an uninformed public is much easier to manipulate. Consider this: when leaders control the flow of information, they limit our access to diverse viewpoints and narratives. They push only self-serving stories through propaganda, preventing us from forming our own independent judgments. A citizenry that is confused, that doesn't know who to trust, may disengage from political processes altogether, and disengagement, that's a golden ticket for those in power. Imagine a public that's overwhelmed by information, yet completely unsure of what's true. This is a breeding ground for apathy. A citizenry that throws up its hands and says, "What's the point of getting involved?" is one that poses little threat to those in power. Now let's delve deeper into how leaders can benefit from public ignorance. Rather than outright making people stupid, they can simply encourage a lack of critical thought. A public that accepts easy answers and comfortable lies is less likely to question authority or reject emotionally manipulative rhetoric. This is where sensationalism and fear-mongering come into play. And what's the result? We see polarization rampant in our society. By spreading disinformation and stoking fears, leaders can exploit divisions. They create a political climate where people trust each other less and rely more on a leader who promises to protect their way of life. Let's not forget the erosion of trust in institutions. When propaganda and disinformation flow freely, they lower public trust in key institutions, the media, government agencies, even schools. This climate of distrust makes people more receptive to leaders who claim, "Only I can be trusted." Now, this isn't just a political issue, it's a cultural one. In business and other organizations, leaders may hoard information to maintain control, making themselves indispensable. This practice hinders teams from making informed decisions and breeds a culture of distrust. But what are the consequences of an uninformed public? A lack of critical thinking skills leads to manipulation. People may vote against their own interests, unaware of the implications of their choices. Civic engagement dwindles. We see a decline in voter turnout and political participation, which weakens democracy. Moreover, a lack of education can trap individuals in poverty, making them more vulnerable to exploitation. When citizens lack the ability to think critically about complex issues, society is more likely to make poor collective decisions. Now, let's bring faith into this discussion. The Bible speaks to the importance of wisdom and understanding. Proverbs 18:15 states, "The heart of the prudent acquires knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeks knowledge. Ignorance is not a virtue. Wisdom is what keeps us grounded and enlightened. Further, in Hosea 4:6, we read, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." This verse underscores the dire consequences of ignorance. When we are uninformed, we are vulnerable, and our communities suffer. So, what's the antidote to this ignorance? An educated populace is essential for a healthy democracy. Education empowers citizens to engage in informed decision-making. It gives us the critical thinking skills we need to participate meaningfully in civic life. Education helps us understand our rights and responsibilities. It creates a citizenry capable of holding leaders accountable and grasping democratic principles. And let's not overlook the historical lessons. Authoritarian regimes have sought to dismantle educational infrastructures, to suppress dissent and consolidate power. In contrast, when we cultivate an educated society, we defend against the very forces that seek to keep us in ignorance. We build resilience against manipulation. So, I ask you, what kind of society do we want to cultivate? One where ignorance reigns, where leaders thrive on our apathy and division, or one where knowledge, critical thinking, and civic engagement are celebrated and nurtured? We have the power to demand better. We can dismantle strategies of manipulation by seeking the truth, by questioning authority, and by engaging in informed dialogue. Let's not allow the powers that be to keep us in the dark. Let me leave you with one final thought from Proverbs 1:7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. Let us not be fools. Instead, let us embrace knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. The future of our democracy and our very lives depend on it. You are important. Now, go be great.